like we are in cars. And this must really just strengthen the societal fabric of any society. And I'm working on this in my head, so it sounds very, but I sense it, I feel it, that it's right. It's interesting with the bicycle. Here's some photos from Copenhagen. If you take the man away from the bicycle, you're left with a thing, an object. And in Denmark, we throw the things and objects that nobody wants. We throw them in our canals and our rivers and the ocean, or leave them places. 400,000 bikes are scrapped every year in Denmark, and that kind of says a lot about this vacuum cleaner mentality. It's a tool. If I lose my screwdriver, I buy a new screwdriver. But if you take away the bicycle from the man at the bottom, you still have a Homo sapien moving across the urban landscape. And I said moving and not walking because I forgot to Photoshop his foot back on there. But you still have a person interacting with the urban space. Again, another example. Readers of my blogs know that I find the upright bicycle the most anthropologically pleasing bicycle, the anthropologically correct bicycle. And this is, why is it that most people on bikes in Denmark, the Netherlands, Japan, and China ride them? It's suitable for urban living. It's suitable for citizen cyclists. You take the bike away from the girl at the top, she's just running for the bus. You take all the bikes away from the people in the snowstorm at the bottom, and they're still just a group of Copenhageners heading in the same direction home from work. It's very human. It remains very human. Cycling really is a sensory feast. You hear the bells ringing in the city. You smell things. You feel things. You feel the weather change. The rain on your face, the scent of the autumn leaves. And I like to call urban cycling the transportational version of the tribal dance. We all love looking at people cycling throughout our cities, even if we're not aware of it, and we always have, and we always will. So that's nice and poetic. Goal number 4, the redemocratization of the bicycle. Rebranding urban cycling. In many countries, cycling has been branded as a sport or recreation and not much else for the past 30 years. People in bicycle clubs and whatnot, that's great. That's a hobby, it's a passion, and so is stamp collecting. It's great. Everybody needs, a passion. But what we need to do is to make people realize in cities all over the world that the bicycle is a normal, feasible, and accepted transport form. And we have to sell it to them properly and positively. Because we're getting a lot of bad press about cycling all around the world. So regular people, citizen cyclists, need another kind of push in order to get up onto the bicycle. We want to rehumanize the bicycle. It was invented for the masses. It transformed the face of our societies, and this is literally within weeks of its invention in the 1880s. Within weeks and months, society was transformed. No other form of transport has ever done that so quickly and so effectively. And we're going to do this because it's for the common good, and it's for the very noble goal here in the new century of recreating, not creating, but recreating livable cities. Because all of our cities used to be lovely places to live not very long ago, and we have to start working to reestablish that. There's so much science about the health benefits and what it gives to society from all around the world. So I like to say there's very few excuses anymore. And I just like to present 2 of these studies here that we have from Denmark. One of them is that the city of Copenhagen has determined that for every kilometer cycled, the city puts a net profit of $1.10 in their pocket. And this is these 3 different values. You live longer. And again, this is just people going 5 kilometers to work and 5 kilometers back. You're less ill whilst alive. You're stronger on the workforce because you're calling in ill less. And, of course, the value of health costs saved. This is pure profit. And politicians really all over the world need to realize that bicycle culture and infrastructure is incredibly cost efficient on all fronts. This is a national study. This photo is from Legoland in Copenhagen. I'm irritating to walk around a city with because I'm always looking for bicycles to take pictures of. And I found them. And my son, Daddy, can we go on the roller coaster? No, there's a bicycle here. I have to zoom in. But this is a typical Danish scene, even in Legoland. For every kilometer cycled on a national level, we earn, as a state, 25 cents net profit. For every kilometer driven, we're paying out 16 cents for every single kilometer. And this is a variety of factors and values, but these also include wear and tear on the roads. More people on bikes means less wear and tear, less time lost in traffic, fewer cars, more cyclists, fewer cars. That's great if you're going to drive. A whole variety of factors involved. And I just remembered another study from Scotland. 5 million people live in Scotland, and they said that if they could go from the current 1% modal share for bikes nationally to the Danish levels of 18% nationally, the country of Scotland would earn £1 billion each year if they invested in bicycle culture and tried to achieve those goals. It's wicked money. You know, if I was a millionaire, I know I'd be putting my money. In Copenhagen, we have what I love about Melbourne is sort of the monuments you have. You have so many beautiful buildings and architectures. You know, you put a dome around an old, the whole, the shot building thing. It's a brilliant city for architecture. And we have a lot of great architecture in Copenhagen, but, we have a major problem, and that is our national symbol. And the symbol of our city is about this big, and she's green. And it's not Yoda, but it basically could be. This is the Little Mermaid. Since 1913, visitors to the city have said the same 4 words. But she's so small. And you hear this every single day. If you ever sit on a bench by the Little Mermaid, people will be saying this all day long. And she's just so lame. She's in Shanghai at the moment at the World Exhibition, so we're hoping she's going to keep her. I'm hoping that they'll keep her anyway, or that the ship will sink on the way home. So, sorry to the Danish consulate for that remark. But I really like to think that the legacy or the monument that we are most proud of in Copenhagen is this monumental motion, this orchestra, this symphony of human-powered movement every single morning, every single afternoon, all through the night. I like to call it human architecture, 500,000 building blocks, Lego blocks, if you were, completely transforming the face of the city every second with the people on the bicycles, turning left, turning right, constant movement, constant change. And it really is the legacy, the urban mobility legacy that our traffic planners over the past 30 years can really be proud of, and the politicians who have also made it possible. Because everybody just wants to live somewhere nice, and they have made my city a very nice place to live. So this is the human monument that I'm most proud of. Here at the end, I just want to present you with 3 cities, because I'm talking about 4 goals, for promoting urban cycling. Are there examples out there that are following these goals, either because they listened to me or because they figured it out for themselves? And one of them is Barcelona, and I was there just a couple of months ago. There were no bicycles in Barcelona 3 years ago, absolutely none. People didn't even think about it. With the implementation of their bike share system, it just boomed. And this time next year, they will hit 5% modal share in the course of 3 years. This is massive. This is unseen anywhere in the world for such a large city. They have a major network of 30-kilometer-an-hour zones, which has also helped. The whole pace of the neighborhoods is just slowed down. There's bicycles everywhere. Families, couples. The same photos that you saw at the beginning. This is Barcelona. They're going to kick our asses within about 10 years, I would say. There's Dublin. I was there last month, expecting to be, mildly impressed by the work they've done, and I was astounded at seeing so many people riding bicycles. 30-kilometer-an-hour zones have been implemented in the city center, very important. They have a bike share system that they started, I don't know if it's 6 months ago or so. The guy from the city, he said that we expected 2,500 subscribers in a good year of eternal sunshine and permanent tailwinds, maybe 2,500. They just passed 30,000 subscribers, and people are using them. There's infrastructure in place. It's crappy and not up to the best practice standards, but people are using it, and it's a great start. So Dublin is really the great bike hope. It used to be one of the great cycling cities of the world, certainly of Europe. And they're doing these 4 things. And then there's Paris. There's always been Amsterdam and Copenhagen, the Romulus and Remus of bicycle culture, urban cycling. Paris, with the launch of their bike share system here a few years ago, they've transformed the face of the city. I've lived in Paris. I've driven in Paris. It was hell to drive in Paris, like it is in most big cities, and especially large European cities. It's completely transformed in Paris now. I was there a couple of years ago, just after they had implemented it, and I said to my wife at the time, I said, I got to try the bikes. I got the blogs. And she says, yeah, I'm going shopping, okay? you pick me up later. I am not riding a bicycle in Paris. An hour after we arrived, we're standing on the street, and there's just like women in heels, men in suits, and she's going, let's get a bicycle. And we experienced Paris in ways that we had never done after having lived there and been there so many times. We're neighborhoods that we didn't even know what they were called. We're riding our bikes through them. It was fantastic. I like the statistic from Paris, and that is 2 million private bikes have been sold since Vélib started. That's great for bike sales. That's great for urban cycling. 2 million people perhaps have said, oh, the Vélib system here, it's great. Why don't I have my own bicycle? Boom. And that makes them go into a bike shop and buy one, which is the same effect in many of the other cities. So I think that's just absolutely brilliant. There's my man Felix. He's here all week. I love this quote. The steel horse fills a gap in modern life. It is an answer not only to its needs, but also to its aspirations. It's quite certainly here to stay. 1869. That could have been written yesterday with all the boom in bicycling. This is 1869. So, you look around the BMW Edge and you say, talk to the hand, BMW and friends. I got your personal emotional mobility right here, because 1869, motherfucker. We're changing the world for the second time with our crappy old bicycles, and there's not much that anybody can do about it. The voices of the distant past are morphing into very real and tangible visions of our immediate future, right before our eyes. If we learn, if we act quickly now. But it's funny because it's not even about the bicycle, really. It's about getting people in our cities onto bicycles. It's not about the bicycle at all. And all of this is now. This is happening right now. Because you know what? These are our cities, and this is our time. And that's why we should be doing a lot more. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.